Greetings everyone, a very warm welcome to today's lecture on International Women's Day 2021. The title of today's lecture is Choose to Challenge, Creating a More Inclusive and Gender Equal World. What do you mean by gender equality and why it matters? The concept of gender equality indicates that all humans have equal human rights and benefit from economic, social, cultural and political developments. Gender equality is an important goal in itself, which can be pointed out as Millennium Development Goal 3. It also contributes to the achievements of several other objectives like stimulation of growth, a reduction in poverty, reduction in inequities, as well as it contributes to child development. The theme of International Women's Day 2021 is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. The theme celebrates the tremendous efforts by women and girls around the world in shaping a more equal future and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. This is definitely a call to action, and this is how one can describe International Women's Day that is celebrated on March 8th. It's a global day celebrating the socio-economic, cultural as well as political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality. International Women's Day 2021 theme, that is choosing to challenge, is indeed an interesting one, and also it is need of the hour, because a challenged world is an alert world. We can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements. Collectively, we can all help create an inclusive world. From challenge comes change. So let's all choose to challenge. However, it is not as if only now these kind of themes have been developed. Let us also discuss the themes that were there prior to this 2021 theme, that is Choose to Challenge. The 2020 theme was Each for Equal. The 2019 was Balance for Better. In 2018, the theme of International Women's Day was Press for Progress. The 2017 Women's Day theme was Be Bold for Change, and the 2016 theme was Pledge for Parity. The UN also issued a 2021 theme, that is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. Then the UN's 2021 theme celebrates efforts from girls and women in creating a more equitable future and COVID-19 pandemic recovery. When we talk about IWD, we must keep in mind that this is not the result of some recent achievements. Rather, it's a culmination of public and private struggles. The symbolic culmination of both public and private struggles that were waged by women for their rights. International Women's Day is a United Nations sanctioned global holiday also. It celebrates women's contributions to society, raises awareness about the fight for gender parity, and inspires support for several organizations that work for women globally. However, we must take into account the history also that goes into the making of this day so special and important. There are some past legends also For example, in ancient Rome, there was a Women's Day which was marked by matrons. And on this day, matrons would freely receive gifts, and they would enjoy, they were showered blessings, and even the slaves received gifts. However, going forward, let us look at the more serious history of this day. If we are talking about the background of this day, then on 8th March 1857, working women in textile and clothing factories, that is the garment workers in New York, USA, protested against inhuman working conditions and low wages for which they faced police brutality. They revived their protest again after 2 years, formed labor union to negotiate for rights in workplace, and took out a march in the month of March. Then another very important and significant date was 25th March 1911, which is known for the tragic Triangle Fire, which marked loss of lives of young immigrant girls in garment factory fire in New York due to lack of proper safety protocol. This was followed by a silent funeral march which brought together a crowd of more than 1 lakh protesters. Now, this Triangle Fire deeply influenced the future labor legislation as well as women's mobilization. According to the United Nations International Women's Day, the movement started in America in 1909 when the Socialist Party of America took to the streets to honor garment workers who had protested against inhumane working conditions the year before. They called it National Women's Day, and it took place on February 28th. In 1910, at the International Conference of Women, socialists in Copenhagen like Clara Zetkin suggested to celebrate the 8th of March as the day of struggle for equality of women with men. The Social International established Women's Day in Copenhagen to celebrate those working for women's rights and universal suffrage. For the first time, IWD was held on March 8th in 1914, simultaneously in 6 countries like Austria, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, Russia and Switzerland. The reason why March 8th was decided was because on March 8th, 1848, the Prussian king had promised women voting rights due to a threat of an armed insurrection. However, the promise remained unfulfilled and led women to distribute millions of leaflets in Germany asking for voting rights before IWD 1911. In 1911, more than 1 million people attended rallies. They focused on suffrage, representation, education and workers' rights. And over the next few years, more countries in Europe marked the holiday on March 8 in remembrance for this struggle. However, it was not until March 8, 1975, when during International Women's Year, the United Nations celebrated it as an official holiday. And since 1975, the holiday has gained awareness around the globe as a way to recognize women. The International Women's Day date was moved to March 8th in 1913. The UN drew global attention to women's concerns in 1975 by calling for an International Women's Year. It also convened the first conference on women in Mexico City that very year. The UN General Assembly invited several member states to proclaim March 8th as the UN Day for Women's Rights and International Peace as well in 1977. The day aimed to help nations worldwide eliminate several discriminations against women. It also focused on helping women gain full and equal participation in global development. International Men's Day is also celebrated on November 19th each year. The major theme that emerges was that of combating crisis. Women stand at the front lines of the COVID-19 crisis as healthcare workers, caregivers, innovators, community organizers and the most exemplary national leaders in combating the pandemic. So, if we are talking about the relevance of women participation and discussion of these kind of themes, then we do not have to go much far or much beyond. The way women have faced the challenge and how they have combated the present crisis speaks volumes. The crisis has highlighted both the centrality of their contributions and the disproportionate burdens that women have carried over the past 1 year. However, despite excelling in all the fields, they experience disproportionate representation. So, despite performing as frontline workers, there is disproportionate and inadequate representation of women in national and global COVID-19 policy spaces. So, we must kind of undertake a post-pandemic realization. Today, there is more acceptance than ever before that women bring different experiences, perspectives, and skills to the table. They make irreplaceable contributions to decisions, policies, and laws that work better for all. Heads of government in Denmark, Ethiopia, Finland, Germany, Iceland, New Zealand, and Slovakia have been widely appreciated and recognized for the rapidity, decisiveness, as well as effectiveness of their response to COVID-19 crisis, as well as the compassionate communication of fact-based public health information. Yet, women are heads of state and government in very few countries worldwide. Maybe the number stands around 20 countries. So, what are the new barriers that have emerged? In addition to persistent pre-existing social and systemic barriers to women's participation and leadership, the new barriers have emerged with the COVID-19 pandemic. Across the world, women are facing increased domestic violence, unpaid care duties, rising unemployment, as well as poverty. The perspectives of women and girls in all of their diversity must be integrated in the formulation and implementation of policies and programs in all the spheres and at all stages of pandemic response and recovery. Now, here I would like to share a very interesting quote by Virginia Woolf. She indicated that how history has always been perceived and written as his story. So, Virginia Woolf says that for most of history, anonymous was a woman. So, women have remained anonymous in history, even if like in present context, they played very important and crucial roles. Then we can also talk about Mary Wollstonecraft, who can be described as the founder of modern feminism. Mary Wollstonecraft's book, A Vindication of the Rights of Women, 1792, mentioned that the divine right of husbands like the divine right of kings, may, it is hoped, in this enlightened age be contested without danger. Such a powerful and a relevant statement. She further said, I do not wish women to have power over men but over themselves. So we all need to take a lesson from this, and the statement seems to be relevant even now. Then another very influential woman was Elizabeth Stanton, a founder of the women's suffrage movement in the US. So she championed the demand for voting rights for all. Elizabeth Stanton played a very important role in bringing out Declaration of Sentiments in 1848, and she mentioned the history of mankind is a history of repeated injuries and assumptions on the part of man toward woman, having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over her. Then there was Clara Zetkin, who was a German socialist feminist who was very important, who emerged as a very important leader of women's movement. Then there are some visuals that I am sharing with you which kind of indicate how women mobilized, and looking at their dress and looking at the fact that they were even coming out along with infants because the struggle that was going on was very relevant to them. So this is a women's suffrage march which took place in New York on May 1913. So as a result of this long drawn out struggle, the right to vote in USA gradually was made available to women, which happened in 1920, and in UK women were allowed to vote in 1928, whereas in Canada it happened from mid 1920s, and in India of course it happened post independence 1947 onwards. So when we are talking about the 20th century revolutions, then granting women the right to vote was a standard feature of most of these struggles. Then in this visual again you can see the movement taking place in Russia, where there was a women's demonstrations, and which mentioned that the voting rights are not universal if women don't have them. Now in between the two world wars, a large number of women came out in public sphere, and they played very important role as factory workers, ammunition factory workers, as well as participated in several army operations also. And of course they were playing very important role as a medical personnel as well. The Soviet women during the war years were playing a very active and a non-traditional role, that of pilots, the war pilots, and also as spies. So a very powerful statement that was made by Margaret Thatcher, that how women can be seen as doers. They always have been doers. So the statement goes, in politics, if you want anything said, ask a man. If you want anything done, ask a woman. So how relevant and practical this is. Again, this is for all of us to see and realize. Now it was due to this historic struggle that finally a change came about, and now we can see that from no voting rights, women can definitely be considered as ruling, and they have definitely come a long way as far as political participation and representation is concerned. Now let us briefly look at the history of women's movement. The three waves of the women's liberation movement that can be earmarked. The first phase starting from 19th century to early 20th century in which the main goal, as we just discussed, was demand for political equality, that is right to vote. And the second stage can be described as from 1960s to 1980s, when the main goal could be identified as socio-cultural equality. And finally 1990s onwards, which marks the continuing struggle for social equality. So it is this concept of social equality that needs to be imbibed, that needs to be cultivated, and this is something which cannot come only through rules, regulations, or through constitutional promulgations. There has to be a structural change in society for this to come, and for this for all citizens to imbibe. So the term feminism appears to be quite relevant in this background. The term appeared in the late 19th century. As a social movement, feminism largely focused on the reduction or elimination of racial inequality as well as promotion of the rights and interests of women. Women's liberation movement appeared in France and the Netherlands in 1872, in Great Britain in 1890, and in US in 1910. However, there are several challenges for feminist movement today. The struggle against violence and women trafficking, then there is the fight for equality at work as well as issues of sexual harassment, the struggle to reconcile professional and family responsibilities for both the genders, then also the struggle for equality in political participation, the fight for proportional representation of both genders in the leadership, in political organizations as well as in movements, also the struggle against rising sexism in media, the struggle for equality between local and migrant women, the fight against poverty, unemployment, as well as the struggle for peace and environmental protection. The struggle for equal treatment of homosexuals also cannot be left untouched. So it is in this background that UN Charter that was signed in 1945 as the first international agreement to affirm the principle of equality between women and men appears to be very relevant. And as you can see from pages of history, these kind of struggles are what they have made us today. So it is a united struggle, it is a historical struggle that has played a very important role, and one can also kind of take into consideration the point that was raised by this Soviet poster that came out in 1920, where women kind of questioned the slavery that they were exposed to in kitchen and how they refused to perform their duties in kitchen as they considered it as nothing short of slavery. Now, what are the implications of inequality that has existed for so long and which in a post-pandemic period is further rising? The inequality diverts resources, it rewards only a particular section of society, it obstructs partnership, it also reduces women's effectiveness and their confidence. There are several ambivalences that need to be taken into account, and one very important ambivalence is a large decline in the labor force participation of women, which was 23.3% in 2017-18, and it became 26.9% in 2018, and it is below the world average of 48.47% in 2018. So women are getting lesser economic opportunities than men due to several reasons, and there are valid concerns where especially in villages where women are doing most of the housework and other unpaid work and have no time to do outside jobs. But for urban women, even when they get jobs, there is concern about the safety of transport from their family members. So, having pointed out these various anomalies, let us sit back and think about what needs to be done and how can we have a more gender equitable world. Thank you.